Hey, friends.
Hey, what you drinking?
Tea.
What kind?
Uh, I'm drinking some matcha tea.
Matcha.
Matcha.
Matcha! I
Okay.
used to do karate when I was a kid.
Gotta protect my matcha from your matcha.
What? That got Siri talking? Oh my gosh. This is the downside of having voice recognition and everything. You can't even say the S word anymore or the A word because if you have the A machine, it will,
We don't have that, so you
I
could
know.
say that.
Well, I don't know. It's probably,
It's probably just all connected through 5G. It's okay.
yeah. 5G.
All
Saves the day.
right. It's gonna be a hot one today. A hot one.
Everyone do this with your hands.
Yeah.
You can feel
You can feel the
feel the truth of what we're talking about. So, Jess,
Yeah.
this morning you were sharing with me a pretty fascinating concept that I didn't even see, even though it's right in front of me every day. Really, every day.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that concept, Mitch?
Well, you're bringing up to me, as you have so lovingly pointed out to me, sometimes,
So lovingly.
sometimes in life. Okay, for all y'all watching this, let's think of the idea of a transition. Let's say you're going through your day, and you're doing your thing.
Mhm.
You're like, working or whatever you're doing, and then you transition to a new activity,
Yeah.
or someone comes in the room, and you didn't anticipate them coming in and they say, "Hey, Jess," and you didn't see it coming. That experience right there. Let's dissect that. So Jess was pointing out to me how sometimes I will be doing something, and I'm like very methodical, practical person, and then the change of plans happens, and I allow that to be a friction creating experience. Basically, I'm allowing for there to be friction there. When does there really need to be any?
It's not. It's even deeper than that, though.
Ooh,
It's not that
please
you're
share.
allowing that friction. It's that you're creating that friction.
Hmm.
You've allowed the program of the friction as a reaction to there being something new or being something that you didn't anticipate. So it's even deeper than you can think. So look at it this way. I all of a sudden say had to pack up all my stuff because I got a new job offer in a different state, and I had to pack everything up, and I had to drive it all down there in a U-Haul, and I had to get unpacked, and I'm in this new space, and it's a stressful situation, right? Well, you have created that stress. You have allowed that situation to be stressful. Because if you look at it from an outside view, like outside of yourself, like physically all you have to do is pack your stuff, get in a truck, go there and unpack your stuff and get settled.
It is
That's
really that
physically
simple.
all you have to do. But you have made it stressful by saying it's stressful, by
Mhm.
accepting the program of this new thing is stressful just because it's new. But that's all in your head. That's literally all in your head, people. And so it's like when you're going through anything in life, when you have a regular routine and it gets disrupted, when you have new things that you're incorporating in your business, different things within a relationship that you didn't see coming, or whatever it may be in life, right, comes at you, you can either logically deal with the situation, move through that situation, actively move yourself, or you can allow yourself to have friction inside, whether that manifests as resistance, stress, anxiety, depression, whatever, to keep you from moving and just going and doing that task and just accomplishing that thing. That was what I realized this morning.
Yeah, and so she shared that with me as I was actually working on something, and she turns around. So we're in our new office here, and she turns around with this like smile on her face. She's like, I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay, tell me. And it was pretty cool because I see now I've increased my self awareness drastically in the past year, and I could notice the friction. It's like this automated pattern, or like Jess was saying, it's a program. It's like a program on your computer, right? And it will run sometimes. Where I'm like, oh, I was working on something. Now Jess wants my attention. Even if that happens for a microsecond, that is in you. And that's that friction that we're talking about. It's like, oh, I was doing one thing and now it's another thing. And there's this little conflict going on.
Yeah.
But how cool would your life be if you didn't have to feel that at all?
Yeah.
Wow, is that even possible, Jess?
Absolutely.
How do we do that? Because I have a lot of friction going on in my life, even with all the work that I've done.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
running many businesses, being responsible for different groups and things I've committed to, like there's a lot of conflict and friction. Help me,
Well,
Jess.
if you don't have Techno Tutor, good luck, first of all, working through all of that, because Techno Tutor allows you to become completely aware of those things and to desensitize it. So let me explain that a little bit. Got this great analogy for you. So say you have a rusty knife and you want to refurbish it and make it anew. You're going to take a sandblaster and you're going to get all the rust off of that knife, right? Well, that's the same thing with these things that are happening in your life, like this stress point that's coming up, right? Instead of trying to look at it and trying to write about it and then just creating more stress because you don't even understand exactly what's going on because you're having an emotional reaction to the stress. If you put that into Techno Tutor and you flash it, it essentially is taking the rust off. So you're taking the associations with that word away. So it's just logically looking at, well, what is stress and how is it created? And so then you can digest and look into it and see like, oh, this is why I have this in my life and this is how I created it. Cool. Then after that, if it ever comes back up again, you immediately know what's happening because you already made that pathway in your brain. You've already connected the dots. It's already a program that you're aware of. Instead of just accepting and allowing programs that you're not even aware of throughout your whole day. And so that's the first step, is becoming aware of that program itself, of stress, anxiety, depression, whatever that may be. And then after that, you get the opportunity to literally rewrite the program.
What?
What? Okay, so that's another thing that we have been doing that. You've been doing that probably for almost a year now, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And it is so fascinating to be able to become aware of these programs, take them out, and replace them with that which is best for your life, for all life. I mean, for best for your ability to do that in which you feel you are called to do, that you feel you are here to do, your purpose, whatever, your destiny, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But you're able to program yourself to be able to be optimized towards that. And so honestly, it's super simple. You just have to be able to work through the resistance of doing it, because there's going to be a lot of that. But it's just some simple writing techniques actually that really are profound and very, very powerful with how they can support you to literally rewire your brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I just realized too when you were saying that is like, initially we all start at a certain level. And let's say you're like a little circle here, right? And at the edge of your circle, whenever you bump up towards something that's like your edge, that's when you feel friction. So for example, let's say you're an employee and you want to ask for a raise, right? But you've never asked for a raise before, and it's kind of scary. There's friction with that of, oh, I got to talk to my boss. What am I going to say? Maybe I shouldn't do it. No, I should do it. No, I shouldn't. And you go back and forth, right? That's friction. But then eventually you do it, and whatever happens with your boss, maybe you get the raise, maybe you don't, but you did it. So then you expand a little bit bigger, right? And then maybe there's a different area of your life. Like maybe you're having a kid, right? You're going to face a lot of friction with that, but then you can work through it, and then it gets a little bigger and a little bigger. So in life, it's really this process of expanding that circle and really expanding who you are to then take in more and more. And then it's no longer friction for you to, let's say, talk to your boss about something or start a new business or have a kid or whatever. Like that just becomes part of you. And then you can take on more and more responsibility in a sense. So I just realized that right there even more thoroughly.
So it's like you can rewrite that stress point, if you're specifically experiencing that, to be excitement. Oh, it's something new. Oh, I get to go learn some new things. I get to experience this new thing. There's unexpected. Oh my goodness, I'm going to meet new people, or I'm going to have new skills, new knowledge, like whatever it may be. Like you can literally rewrite. Instead of experiencing something that's going to hold you back and keep you from moving in life, you can make that be something that supports you to move even more. And so I see it so plainly in my life. I have created so much friction, and honestly, we live in a society that supports you to create friction. They're like, oh, you made it through all that stuff? Well, guess what? You created all that stuff. So, like, that's the paradigm that we live in. Like, people are celebrating going through all these hardships and, like, making it through. And it's like, you realize that you created those hardships for yourself. Like, you can not have to experience all of that. I mean, like, it's instead of praising hardships, let's praise the ability to not have to go through hardships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's look at it as, you know, who can start where they're at and live out their purpose with the least amount of resistance. And let's teach everybody else how to do that. Mm-hmm. Instead of going through, oh, I'm going to experience all this resistance so I can help other people go through all this resistance. You're just like inviting other people to experience more resistance in their life. Because, oh, I know how to work through it, so it's okay. You could experience that resistance. It's okay for you to sabotage your own life because I'll help you work through your own self-sabotage so you can create more self-sabotage. So your life can just be really hard, but you can learn from the things that are really hard because that's what life is. What?
Yeah, that's like such a limited way of interpreting the world. And if that's where you're at right now and not able to see from a higher perspective, like that's cool. But I'm glad you're watching this video because there is a way to actually work through it. And you have to use the tools. It's not an overnight thing, but you'd be amazed what you can accomplish in 1 week of just looking at it, being honest with where you're creating the friction, and like it's like everywhere in my life. It's insane. Now I'm seeing it, and it's kind of like funny because it's so ridiculous. Yeah. But even, for instance,
silly.
Driving to the office today, and there's like, you know, when you're like driving next to a big semi and you're like, I don't really like being near this thing. It's like I was creating friction in that experience instead of just, okay, breathe. Okay, well, I can go here or I can go there so I don't have to be around this. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, there may be little moments of friction as it's like practical supporting you. Like, hey, warning, giant semi, you know, could cross in your lane. Like, okay, I see it. Breathe, go around. It's really that practical. It's just we have so many layers of all this stuff that's on us, and that's why we have the tools, Techno-Tutor, DIP, and just connecting in general with us and different groups we're a part of, because we're here to actually look at it from a higher perspective, because you don't have to keep, you know, living in friction.
And that's how that's where it starts, is awareness of those points, which self-awareness is a very loaded word, in that we live in a world that promotes you to do just the opposite, to suppress your ability to be aware of your own body.
Or to live in imagination fairy tale land.
Exactly. And so like, self-awareness is uncomfortable. Self-awareness provokes a lot of resistance. self-awareness is the hardest thing that you can go through in life, because you have to take off all those layers and become aware of everything that you thought was reality when it's not. And it's difficult to accept that. It's difficult to see that, oh, my life was a lie. Like, all these things that I've accepted have been only suppressing my ability to be here.
Wake up, Neo.
And so it's so cool to be able to be on this journey and to, you know, even see Pen right now within my self-awareness, and to be able to laugh about it. Honestly, just knowing like I have these tools and I have this support system necessary to work through any friction that comes into my life. It's incredible. Honestly, it's really incredible just to be at this point. Whereas other times in my life, I would get stressed that I was aware of my own stress.
Yeah, so you don't know what to do.
Exactly.
It's like this scary thing. It's like looking in the basement and it's all dark and there's no light. You're like,
yeah, it's like you have friction to, you have resistance to becoming aware of your own friction in your life. You don't even want to face it. You don't even want to accept that it's happening while it's happening, even though it's destroying your life and keeping you from
That's
actually
called
being
avoidance.
here. Yeah.
Hey, want to know something else I just realized?
What?
Okay. Now in relationships,
Okay.
friction,
Let's circle
friction,
it.
ding dong, friction's here. So, I've noticed with you, Jess, for example, that because our relationship is based on an agreement and sound principles,
Yeah.
we don't create that friction intentionally. Like, we both have our own friction internally and with each other that happens from time to time, but we see that playing out. Like, we have enough self-awareness to realize, oh wait, I just did that totally because I was trying to get a reaction out of her. Like, okay, let's talk about it. Where I've been in relationships before and you see this all the time. I mean, look at the media, look at the stuff that goes viral on Facebook. It's like these relationships, whether romantic or just friendship or enemies or whatever, where the basis of it is friction and conflict. And it's like tearing each other down, then like, ooh, build each other up. Oh, so romantic. Ooh, maybe he likes me, maybe she likes me. But then it's like tear down, up, down, up, down. And that is just a silly way of looking at life.
Oh my goodness. Stephen, I absolutely agree. You're right, it's not difficult to grow in your self-awareness. It's just different. In relationships, it's not difficult to be rid of creating friction purposefully. It's just different than what society has shown us. In movies and in books, in TV shows, all of that, they've glorified relationships that go through all of this stuff, that make each other feel this conflict and this negative energy so that they can feel this amazing positive energy, and it's great. And they've glorified that. They've put it on a pedestal and made it look like that is what we need. That is what I strive to be.
This is what love feels like.
In life, all I strive for is to go through this friction so I can be on the other side of it. What? Let's reframe that. And Stephen, just like you said, it's not difficult. It's just different than what we've been told and what we've accepted as true and what we've been programmed to think.
Well, yeah, at the same time, like, it was really difficult for me to see this, like, back in the day, because I was so lost in my understanding of...
You said it was difficult for you to see this?
Yeah, for me to see how much I was creating friction. I felt, like, justified, and, like, oh, my life's so hard, and, like, yeah, I'm going to persevere through it. So it was actually quite difficult for me to get to this point. But once I had the right tools and I was connected to the right people who understand how the mind works and things like that, then it became just different.
I see that.
Yeah.
I
So I
see
just, I'm not going to promise people, oh, it's just different. You're not going to face any difficulty. But rather, like, don't be afraid of the word difficult. Difficult you can redefine difficult. So it's just like a challenging thing that you work through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Words.
What was the title of this video?
The friction you create, I think. something
Oh, the
like that.
friction you create?
Yeah. It's
Well-
somewhere I don't know. There's this new live format.
The friction that you create. Wait, no, friction. I don't think it was named that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. All I know is you're creating friction in your life. And it's destroying you. It's keeping you from being able to move.
It's actually eating away at your body.
Yeah.
Like if you really look at it and you
Yeah.
notice, like, what happens when you get too stressed? You kind of feel knots in your stomach. You don't feel good.
You get stress ulcers
You
in
aren't
your
as
throat. You
hungry.
get canker sores. You get migraines. You eat away at your own body.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to numb it. Just eat.
Yeah.
Okay, don't do that.
No.
But
No,
it's
but
definitely a thing. Like I've done it many times. Like oh.
instead of dealing with the friction and facing it, you suppress it and utilize different things to cope.
Mm-hmm.
And people are adrenaline junkies. People are alcoholics. People are druggies. People are obese. People have smoking addictions. I mean, like, whatever it may be, whatever your vice is, maybe you can't stand your own life, so you sit and watch television and watch other people live their fake lives, and that's how you want to live because it's easier than dealing with your own life.
We're here to tell you can actually deal with that stuff in your own life, and it can be the most fulfilling, rewarding thing. You just got to be around the right people.
Absolutely. And also, wouldn't you want to create a life where you have the least amount of friction and you know how to navigate any point that does come up so that you can just move and create?
Yeah, sign me up. That sounds really great. That's what I'm in the process of doing.
Likewise.
Yeah. So,
All right. Well,
any final questions? Just leave a comment. We'll keep an eye on this post today. If there's any other topics you would like for Jess and I to discuss, just leave a comment or send a message because we're getting great feedback on these videos because there's not many young couples out there that understand how to practically form a relationship agreement. There's a lot of couples out there that are breaking up, a lot of couples that are not happy, but we're here to be a point of stability so you can see that, well, hey, if they can do this, I can do this. So that's what we're here for.
all right.
Stop creating that friction.
Stop it.
Bye, everyone.